Hey everyone, I had a couple people email me this week and ask me if I would do a tutorial showing how to make a box for when you do a gift card set. And this is a gift card set that I did this week where I made 4 shaped cards and put the shaped cards inside the box to give as a present. So I'm going to show you how to figure the sizing on the card, and then these are the cards that I put inside. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to figure the sizing on the boxes and how to make the boxes. And this is another smaller one I made a while ago. This little box fits 3 by 3 cards, and this box is actually one piece. I'm not going to do that today. I actually already did a tutorial on how to do this kind of a box. If you look on my YouTube channel, go back probably about 6 months or so. I have 2 tutorials on how to make these boxes, but the 3 by 3 box I'm going to show you how to make today is going to be where the top comes off, like this other box. So let's get started. Basically what I do, it's basically just math, but I just kind of sit down and write it out and kind of figure out what I'm going to need. So my cards, let's just say we're going to do an A2 size card box. So it's just the standard size cards, A2 size cards. Those are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So here's an envelope for those. You need to make sure that you make the box bigger than your envelope. If you go off of your card, you won't be able to get the envelope to fit inside the box. So the envelope for the A2 size card is 4 3/8, and I'm going to write this on here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's going to be 4 3/8 by 5 3/4. Okay, that's the. Let's see if I can zoom in there for a minute. I have my cheat sheet up there. That's what the other piece is. But anyway, so the envelope is 4 3/8 by 5 3/4. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that our box is about a quarter inch bigger than these sizes. So I'm going to add 1/4 inch. And again, this is just very remedial math. So this is going to be 6 inches, and this is going to be 4 1/2 inches. Okay, so now I know that this part of my box needs to be 4 3/4 inches, or I'm sorry, 4 1/2 inches wide by 6 inches tall. Okay, so that's that size. And then so again, we just took the size of the envelope, we added 1/4 inch to each side, and then that gave us our sizes for this part of the box. Okay, we still have to add our sides. Now in this box I made 2 inches. Oh no, this is 1 1/2 inches, and usually 1 1/2 inches works, unless you're putting more than 4 cards. If you're putting more than 4 cards, then I would do a 2 inch. Sorry, everything's just falling everywhere. I would do a 2 inch thick side, but if you're just doing 4 cards and envelopes, a 1 inch or a 1 1/2 inch thickness should be fine. Okay, and you can always take your cards and your envelopes, sit them together, and kind of measure how tall they are. You know, stack them on top of each other and measure how tall they are. If they're less than 1 inch, do 1 inch, and if they're a little bit more than 1 inch, do a 1/2 inch. So we're going to take a 1/2 inch, and remember your box has a side on each side. So a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch is 3 inches. Okay, so we're going to add 3 inches. 3 inches here, which is going to make this 7 1/2, and we're going to add 3 inches here, which makes this 9. So our piece of paper that we're going to cut out needs to be 7 1/2 inches by 9 inches. This is going to be the bottom of the box. Now the top of the box, we need to add a little bit more to that because the top of the box fits over the bottom of the box. So it needs to be an 1/8 inch bigger all the way around so that it will fit over the top of the box and not squeeze the bottom part of the box. See how it fits perfectly? Yeah, if you do it the same size, it'll squeeze this box on the bottom and it will look bad. So we're going to add an 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to actually take this measurement here, this 7.5 by 9. This is going to be the top of the box. So 7.5, and yes, I write everything out because then I can double check it and I know I'm not making any errors. 7.5, we're going to add an 1/8 of an inch and an 1/8 of an inch here. So for our top, when we cut our paper, we're going to have 9 1/8 inch wide, 9 1/8 inch, and 7 5/8 inch. Okay, so that's what the paper needs to be for the top. So we're just making it an 1/8 of an inch bigger just so that it'll fit over the bottom portion of the box, okay? So let me double check and make sure I did that right. I did? Okay. And I'm going to zoom back out here. Okay. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my paper, and I'm going to take my cutter, and let me set this up so you can see it. And I'm just going to take, you want something that's a cardstock weight. You don't want anything that's flimsy. If it's flimsy, it's not going to hold the shape of the box. So you need to at least have a cardstock weight, or a double-sided paper is good too. Okay, so my size needs to be 7.5 by 9. So I'm going to cut it at 9 inches, and then I'm going to cut it at 7.5. Okay, and that's the bottom. And then I'm going to take my second piece of paper and I'm going to cut this at 9 1/8, because again we're making it a little bit bigger because it's the top and it needs to fit down over, by 7 5/8 on this side. Okay, so it's just barely, let's see if you guys can see, just barely a little bit bigger on each side. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, I could use my Martha Stewart scoreboard, but I'm going to just use my cutter. I'm going to change out the blade and get my score blade, and I'm going to take this is the bottom piece, and I am going to, because the edge all the way around the box is going to be 1.5 inches, I'm going to score it all the way around the box at 1.5 inches. And you're going to also do this on the top portion. I'm just going to score it all the way around 1.5 inches. Okay, just like that. So that's scored. And then the next part that you do is, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut. You have your lines that are scored. I don't know if you can see. Down here you have your square where the score lines overlap. You're going to cut one of these inward. So I'm going to cut this one, and what you do is you're going to do it on each corner, but you want to cut the same cut on all of them so that it matches, and I'll show you here in a minute why we're cutting it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So on each one you should be cutting 4 times, and you're again, like I said, you're going to cut just along the score line up into just up to the other score line that you made. Okay, and then you're going to take some glue. You probably could take, you could probably use your ATG gun, or if you wanted. I like using the quick dry glue just because it dries so much quicker. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fold on all of our score lines and see how the box is coming together. So we're going to take the glue and we're just going to put glue Can you see that? And you're just going to glue the edges together just like this. Sorry, I mind the screen. Just like that. And you're going to do that on all 4 sides. Just like that. And see how the box is coming together? Okay, so I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to do the next one, and then when I'm finished, I'll come back.